Good morning. Today is Sunday. It's day 3. It's a chilly one this morning. And as you can probably imagine, everything is still wet. My clothes are still wet and cold. The inside of my tent had a little bit of condensation this morning, which I did wipe off with my microfiber towel, but it did cause my quilt to get a little wet, but not a whole lot, so it's fine. Yeah, it should be a whole lot of fun putting these cold, wet clothes back on, but I'm just glad that I'm not expecting any rain today, and when the sun comes out in a little bit, it should feel pretty nice. So for now, this coffee and oatmeal will have to do the trick of warming me up. Yeah, gonna try to hurry up today. Gonna try to knock out a 19-mile day, so we'll see how that goes later. All right, so I'm off to a little bit of a later start today than yesterday. Yesterday, I was able to be on trail by about 8:45. Right now, it's 9:30, and I'm just getting started for the day. But in my defense, today was colder and wetter. I mean, all my clothes from yesterday were still pretty damp this morning, which meant that they were also pretty cold. The air this morning is cold, even down to like my socks and shoes. Like, imagine putting on a pair of cold, damp, wet socks in the morning and then having to stick them into cold, damp shoes. So that's pretty much what this morning is giving. And even the trail today is like super muddy, which is gonna slow me down, but still gonna try to get these 19 miles in for today. It might actually be a pretty difficult day because I did see in the trail guide that there are a couple of climbs today that looked pretty big. And I should be reaching World's End State Park today if I happen to get through all these miles. But we'll see. If I can make it there today, then odds are I'll be finishing up tomorrow because I'll only have about 13 miles left to do. If I don't make it there today, then I might actually be out here until Tuesday, but we'll see. For now, I'm going to put the phone away and just get to hiking, so I'll catch you on a bit. Just made it to the top of the first climb of the day, and I knew immediately that these layers needed to come off, so I ripped them off with a quickness. I think today is going to be a hard day because these climbs are still just so steep, it doesn't make any sense. Whew. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about when I mentioned how steep these climbs are. So this mile marker is saying to turn left, and as I look to my left, all I see is this drop off, and I have to make my way down there. Like, this is what I'm talking about. It is crazy. Y'all, I just hit mile marker 32, which means I am more than halfway done with this trail. Yeah, I'm so pumped. And the sun is coming back out. And I just passed the first group of hikers since I've been out here. I haven't seen people in 2 days at this point up until just 30 seconds ago. So I'm super stoked. Feeling pretty confident that I'll knock out these 19 miles today. Probably try to camp around mile 47. And that'll leave me with just 13 miles to get back to my car tomorrow. So let's keep going. I guess I haven't been showing much of the trail itself because this is pretty much what it looks like the whole time. It's just trees, leaves, rocks, until I get to either a stream or a nice view. It all just looks like this, which I think can be pretty boring. I still cannot believe how much rain there was yesterday. I mean, from 10:30 in the morning until 5 o'clock in the evening, it was a non-stop downpour. And I hiked 18 miles through that downpour, soaking wet all day. Like, that was insane. So glad that's over. So I remember reading about this detour in the trail guide. Typically, you would make a left turn here, which is after the mile 34 marker. But the detour has us turning right and then descending. So thankful to have this sign here, but it's also good to read up ahead on potential trail alerts, detours, anything like that beforehand so that you're aware. I forgot to mention that this detour was put in place because of a landslide, so the actual trail is pretty inaccessible right now. Look at how cool this is. Oh my God. I tell you, the amount of climbing on this trail is just never ending. Let's just go up and over all the mountains, why don't we? Yeah, that's what they were thinking. It's a nice view.
It's a great view. I think it's one of the best views of Pennsylvania that I've run into so far.
I think it's the best that I've seen so far. That was probably the nicest viewpoint I've had so far on this trail. And I just happened to run into a nice family back there who were just out taking photos. It's nice to stop and chat for a minute. I didn't get you all's names, but it was really nice to meet you all and talk for a bit. And if you're watching this video, that means that I finished the Loyalsock Trail. So, yay. I'm doing some reevaluating that growl that I thought I heard yesterday. I'm starting to think that maybe it was just a car or a motorcycle passing by on a road nearby. I'm only starting to think that now because I've passed several roads today and I've heard several cars and motorcycles going by. And the sounds that I'm hearing today sound a lot like what I thought was a growl yesterday. So maybe I just made up in my mind that it was a dangerous animal. I haven't really seen any wildlife out here aside from that porcupine, and I actually just saw a deer cross the trail up ahead of me, but nothing threatening. So yeah, we're just gonna go with it was a car, not a bear. Okay, so the time is about 1:30. I've done about 10, almost 11 miles for the day. So I've got like 8 or 9 more to go. So I'm pretty confident that I will make it to camp pretty comfortably today. And that'll leave me with just 13 miles to do tomorrow to finish off the trail. And I actually haven't stopped for lunch yet, so I'll probably be doing that in the next 30 minutes or so. My goal for the day was to hit mile marker 40 by 2 o'clock. So I'm about 1.5 miles away from that. So we'll see if I can do it in the next 30 minutes. I did it. Made it to mile 40 by 2 o'clock, exactly. And I think this rock is the perfect place to stop for lunch. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, so for lunch again today, I'm going to do a tuna wrap with some Fritos on top and also this blue agave sriracha. I've got some Gushers to snack on. I'll probably eat 1 or 2 scoops of Nutella. And then I have got some trail mix. And I gotta give a quick shout out to UST Gear. I love keeping my snacks in this FlexWare boil bag. I've been keeping this bag on the outside of my pack the entire trip. It kept all the rain out yesterday, and I can easily just pull it out of my side pocket and snack on some trail mix whenever I want. So super happy about that. This is what's left of my guidebook after that ridiculous rainstorm yesterday. The poor thing fell apart, but I can still use it. Okay, so I'm just finishing up lunch and just snacking on some Gushers before I continue on. So I've got 7 more miles to do today. I have plenty of time to do it. It's only 2:30. And I was just looking at the guidebook and it looks like I only have 2 more real climbs today. And they don't look to be that large. I think the first climb is in the next mile or so, and it's about like 300 feet. And then I've got to climb right before I get to my campsite, which is like another like 300 or 400 feet. So I shouldn't have too much trouble making it to camp, but you never know. Things could always change, but I'm pretty confident I'll get there. Welcome to World's End State Park. Looks like we got another view on our hands. Let's check it out. Okay, scratch my earlier comment. This might actually be the best view of the entire trail. Easily. I always think it's funny when I get to a nice viewpoint like that and I see all the people just getting out of their cars and walking maybe 10 yards to the viewpoint. And then they look at me and they see me with this pack on and all this stuff and they ask me like, where am I coming from? And I'm like, oh, I just did 19 miles today, just casually. And they look at me like, oh, that's impressive. I always think that's funny. But then a part of me wants to ask them to put me in their back seat and take me back to my car. But I've come too far to quit, and quitting just isn't something that I'm all that good at. So I'm gonna keep going. I think I've got about 3 miles left today. Super stoked to get to camp and wrap this day up. At this point, the lower half of my body is aching and sore, so I'm really excited to lay down and rest. All right, that's all for now. Yeah, I just happened to turn and look back and I saw that rainbow. Oh, look at that. Looks like I found the visitor center, but too bad it's closed. Oh well, off to camp I go. So this is the last climb that I was talking about earlier that will take me right up to where my campsite is for the day. I'm definitely not excited about this, but I am excited to get to camp and to lay down and eat dinner. So I'll see you up there. Why? Oh my gosh. Why are you doing this to me? It's so steep, it's so rocky. I just want to get to camp. Okay, so just to give an update on today, I was able to knock out those 19 miles, which I am super happy about. So I'm now sitting just past mile marker 47, which means I only have about 12 and a half miles to do tomorrow, and then I am out of here. So this will basically be a 3-day trip for me, considering I started at 1 p.m. on Friday, depending on what time I finish tomorrow. But yeah, it's looking to be about 3 days. But something that happened today, so I was making my way to camp and I knew exactly where the campsite was that I was planning to hit. And as soon as I finished that big climb that I was complaining about, I would come around the bend and I have eyes on the campsite. And what do I see but a family occupying that campsite with maybe 3 or 4 tents. And there was absolutely no space for me to fit in. And as soon as I saw them parked there and they had a fire going already, like my heart sank into my stomach and I wanted to throw up, because that's been my plan all day, to camp at that campsite. So I quickly pull out the trail guide and I'm trying to find maybe another campsite nearby, and it's only showing that the next campsite is another 3 miles. And at this point, it's like after 6 p.m. I know that it's going to be getting dark soon, and I did not want to hike another 3 miles because I was so exhausted from the day. And also I knew that it was going to be getting dark, and I really didn't want to be hiking at night in pitch black with just my headlamp. So I thought that that was my only other option. So I continue on ahead, and I maybe get about 200 yards further than where the campsite was. And I happen to look to my right and I find this little makeshift site right next to the stream, which you can probably hear. because I'm literally right next to it. And all it took was 2 seconds for me to look at it. I saw that it was big enough for me to fit my tent, and there's a little fire ring here that someone made. So I pitched my tent so fast, and I was so happy that I didn't have to go another three miles today. So yeah, that was an eventful ending to the day, but I'm in my camp in my nice warm clothes. I'm gonna be eating dinner in a second, and I'm just chilling for the rest of the night. So yeah, that's all for now. Okay, so chores are done, food is hung, and I am nice and toasty in my quilt, and I'm ready to go to sleep. Tomorrow should be a good day. Tomorrow's the final day, and I will be reaching the end of the Loyalsock Trail. So that about does it for today. So good night. All right, today is the last day, which I'm excited about. I actually got up with my alarm this morning at 6:30, even though it was still pretty much pitch black outside. So that's the first time I've done that this weekend. And I jumped up, grabbed my bear bag, started fixing breakfast, and I'm just finishing up breakfast now. So I'm gonna keep with this momentum, get dressed, get all my stuff packed up, and hit the road or hit the trail. So yeah, see you in a bit. So this is what my water looks like this morning. It is filtered, and I just got it right out of the stream behind me. So it's just gonna have to do for today. Packing up my tent now, brushing my teeth really quick, and then I'm out of here. Okay, so I'm back on trail about an hour earlier today than I was yesterday, which I'm happy about. Just gonna finish up these last 12 and a half miles and I'll be done. So it did rain on and off last night, so I ended up packing up a wet tent this morning, but I'm happy that the rain has passed and the sun is coming out today. So I'm hoping that this last bit of trail isn't all that difficult. I'm expecting maybe 1 or 2 more climbs, but hopefully that will not be the case, or hopefully they won't be as bad. But yeah, it's kind of chilly this morning, the same way it was yesterday morning, but it's not completely miserable. Could be worse. So still happy to be out here. I'm happy to be finishing up also, though. Mornings on trail are always so quiet. All you can hear are the leaves blowing in the wind. Well, this is the trail. Flooded, muddy, and disgusting. So I've been signing each of these trail registers as I come to them throughout the entirety of my trip. And it's pretty much common practice to sign the registers, but I think they are extremely important, especially when you're out doing your solo thing like I am. This lets people know how many are in your group, where you or what part of the trail you last touched. In case anyone needs to come out and do a search for you, these would help give a better indication of where you might be. So I've been signing them. I'm not sure if this is the last one, but anything that I sign today, I'm just putting down that I'll be finishing up. So let's finish up. So I realized that on Friday, I said that I was going to do a roundup of my gear while I was out on this trip. And today's Monday, and I clearly have not done that. Yeah, I sort of came to the conclusion on Saturday when I was getting drenched with a never-ending downpour that I probably wasn't going to do it. It just takes a lot more time than what I was maybe anticipating. So I decided that I was just gonna focus on the hike this weekend, and that's okay. Don't worry, because I will get a gear review up in the near future. I'm just piecing together how exactly I want to do it, and I'm also piecing together the last few elements of my gear setup. One thing I will say is that I am very impressed with the gear setup that I have so far. Everything has worked the way that I expected it to. Nothing really failed on me. I mean, my rain gear did get kind of soaked through on Saturday, but I mean, hiking through 7 straight hours of a nonstop downpour, like, that's expected. So yeah, I think I just have a few minor adjustments to make, and other than that, I'm happy that all of my research and investments have paid off. So I'm excited. Okay, that's all for now. Mile 50. It looks like we've got less than 10 miles to the finish line. Hey, I'm so excited. Let's go. Well, I thought I was pretty much done with the views for this trip, but this lake just sort of appeared out of nowhere. It's nice. So I'm currently down to the last 4.5 miles. So it should probably take me about an hour and a half to finish. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed at the fact that I've been able to complete this trail pretty much in 3 days. I mean, I started at around 1:15 p.m. on Friday, and I'll probably be finishing up around 1:15 Monday. So if you do the math, that's pretty much exactly 72 hours or 3 days, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, it's definitely boosting my confidence a little bit. It's giving me a better gauge of what I'm capable of, both physically and mentally. And it's got me stoked for what's coming up in the future. And by now, you all probably know what that is. But yeah, probably my least favorite aspect of this trail is also my least favorite aspect of Pennsylvania trails in general, that being the rocks. Man, when I tell you, there is not a single smooth section of trail anywhere. You are just stepping on rocks constantly. And every time you do, you're just tweaking your ankle just slightly. And over a period of several days, your body just wears down. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not exactly tired, but my ankles are over it because I keep stepping on rocks and moving my body in unnatural ways. And it's also hard with there being so many leaves on the ground. Like, they cover more than half the rocks, so you can't even really see where you're stepping. And if you pick your head up for a split second to look to see what's ahead of you, odds are you're gonna take a bad step and it will not feel pleasant. And that has been my experience all weekend. But thankfully, I'm not severely injured. I'm still able to walk just fine. And pretty soon I will be finishing this trail. So I'll see y'all at the finish line. I'm so happy to say that I'm finished. So this completes my thru-hike of Pennsylvania's Loyalsock Trail. I started this trail on Friday at roughly 1:15 p.m. and it is right around 1:30 p.m. on Monday. So I was able to knock out these roughly 60 miles in just over 72 hours or 3 days, which I'm super stoked about. Along the way, I had to deal with varying temperatures, a lot more rain than what I was expecting, a lot of wet leaves and mud, tons and tons of rocks, steep climbs and steep descents. But I also got to see a lot of beautiful streams and creeks, plenty of waterfalls, and some pretty stunning vista views. So all in all, I am pretty happy with this accomplishment, and I'm also happy to be going home where I'll be able to rest for the next few days. So yeah, this just about does it for this trail. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Catch you later.